10 security vulnerabilities that threaten small businesses. Like any technology, internet security threats are changing and evolving at all times. Hackers adjust their methods and develop them to take advantage of both technological vulnerabilities and psychological weaknesses of employees. Some current threats are 1. Security holes or vulnerabilities. These are bugs in operating systems and software that can be exploited by hackers. When a vulnerability is discovered, a race begins. Hackers hurry to develop exploits, which are pieces of code that use the vulnerability to penetrate or disable a program or a whole network before the software developer releases a patch to close the hole. The second vulnerability is direct attack. Though less common in small business world, direct attacks do exist. A disgruntled worker, a very unhappy customer, or a competitor with network knowledge can try to hack into the network with different intentions. From simple curiosity to data theft, many reasons can cause a hacker to come knocking on your office network door. The third one is viruses. Though less common nowadays and often confused with worms, viruses are pieces of executable code that can do damage to a computer system. Viruses often spread over email and recently over instant messaging networks by disguising themselves as legitimate attachments. The user activates the code unknowingly, thus infecting their entire system with the virus. Viruses often use the victim's address book to email themselves to other mailboxes. Viruses can range from merely annoying to dangerously destructive. The fourth vulnerability are worms. Similar to viruses and much more common are computer worms. Unlike viruses, which infect programs and files, worms do not attach themselves to any other software and are self-sustained. Worms often propagate themselves using an infected system's file transmission capabilities and may increase network traffic dramatically in the process. Other possible effects of a worm include deletion of files, emailing of files from the infected computer, and so on. More recently, hackers have designed worms to be multi-headed so that their payload include other executables. The most infamous worm is MyDoom, which, along with its variants, caused several billions dollars worth of damages to businesses, ISPs, and home users. The next one is Trojan Horses. These are software programs that capture passwords and other personal information, and which can also allow an unauthorized remote user to gain access to the system where the Trojan is installed. To protect against damage by Trojan horses, it is necessary to use a firewall with strict control for outgoing traffic. The next is DOS attacks, or denial of service attacks. This particular threat is valid if you run a web server with a promotional or web commerce site. The attack attempts to disable the server by flooding it with fake requests that overload the server. Very often, unable to mount this attack with a limited number of computers and bandwidth, the attacker will create an army of, quote, zombie machines by infecting various networks with worms that allow the hacker to exploit the machines and their bandwidth for the attack. This is called a DDoS, or distributed denial of service attack. DOS has become a popular online criminal activity with hacker groups demanding protection money to keep them from running businesses. Companies that depend on online commerce are particularly vulnerable to these type of threats. The next one is spam. Though not officially defined as a security threat, spam can seriously damage productivity and represents a potential risk due to the current rise of malicious software delivered by spam messages as well as phishing. Phishing is a method used to acquire personal information such as passwords, bank account and credit card numbers, and more through sophisticated email messages that claim to have come from a specific provider. One such thing might be PayPal, where a phisher might make a fake PayPal email address, send you a message and say, hey, we need your PayPal, we need you to update your password on the next page. And then next thing you know, you go in there, you give your password, and then your PayPal account is wiped out, or your bank account. All right, the next threat is spyware. Spyware is malicious code sometimes found in various freeware or shareware software, as well as in file sharing clients. It takes a toll on system performance and sends user data to spyware creators. Next is inappropriate or illegal content. Though not considered a security threat, inappropriate content can seriously damage employee productivity. Websites with illegal content often contain files with viruses, worms, and Trojan horses embedded in the available downloads. And finally, you have improper computer use by employees. This can be the most difficult threat of all to contain. You can manage external threats with all sorts of firewalls and antivirus software and anti-spamming and so forth, but it is much harder to stop a disgruntled employee from stealing corporate data and sabotaging it. Likewise, it is also difficult to ensure that your employees do not accidentally create a security violation by exposing your network to one of the prior mentioned threats. If you enjoyed this video, then join my Business Mastery Insider Secrets Club. There you'll have access to all my business mastery systems, over 1,000 business strategy videos, over 100 hours of Business Mastery University courses. You'll access my 10 business assessment tools, my 12 business planning tools, the Small Business Makeover, the 120-day performance challenge, the 6-month internet blueprint, thousands of business articles, over 700 business templates, and over 100 of my favorite business strategy ebooks. All of this for just $29 a month for a limited time. So join now.